VirtualQ Protect and Archive event. We appreciate your taking time out of your busy day to join us. I'm Jessica Eiler. I'm one of the product marketing managers here at Quantum. And in this session, I'm going to be sharing information with you about corporate video and how its use is proliferating and becoming a significant portion of the content in your storage ecosystem. Also wanted to let you know, if you have any questions along the way, please go ahead and submit them through WebEx, and we'll cover them during our Q&A at the end. So you may have seen this slide already in one of our other sessions, and I share it with you here as it conveys some very relevant and important points about Quantum, like how blockbuster films have been created with Quantum, and we've been the leader in video for 20 years. And of course, Quantum storage management is also used in industries outside of Hollywood, in organizations where video content is still mission critical to the core of those types of industries. I mean, you're probably already aware of telehealth, and maybe even by now you've already had a virtual doctor appointment and already experienced that personally. But you can see here how many sectors rely extensively on video. And why is that? Video is perhaps the most effective form of communication. It is like art, where it conveys communication in the best way. And video and image data is everywhere around us. Our world is now immersed in video, and we see and use it throughout our everyday lives. In fact, we generally have 24/7 video access at the tip of our own fingers every day through our mobile phones. So it's fair to say that video has become ubiquitous, so much so that we may even take it for granted and forget that companies are producing and generating video files or content at an exponentially increasing rate. In fact, IDC's study, Data Age 2025, that study forecasts that 80% of data will be video or video-like by the year 2025. And that's right around the corner. So video really is everywhere, and it's used in many ways. So what did we ever do before we had video content as a source of information for us? You know, traditionally, corporate data files and documents have been digitized and moved to data storage environments. This data was comprised of files like marketing PDFs and transcripts from meetings, product and training manuals, HR records, you know, a veritable library of documents. But what we're now seeing is corporations are having the same challenges that Hollywood and the big studios were facing like 20 years ago, when they had to undergo transitioning from analog to digital video files for their films. And now other industries and companies, you know, just like yours, they're facing the same issues of managing this exploding volume of digital video content. And Quantum, we are experts on corporate video. We've been doing it for 20 years. And we continue to lead with solving these challenges for our customers. Organizations are, they have come now to rely more on the creation of making video compelling and using this content for marketing, training, educating employees, and of course, corporate communications. So, for instance, if you think about it, if we can show like a short video to train someone, instead of a lengthy, less interesting manual to read, it becomes easy to understand why video is replacing so much historically, text-based content and files. So what's driving these trends? And what's underlying the adoption of corporate video? It's pretty simple. It's about business. And the increasing trend for corporate video is driven by increased profitability and greater contributions to the bottom line of a business. And because of that, that means it's not going to go away anytime soon. So we do need to plan for it to manage it properly. So there are already, many areas where corporate video use is already, starting to proliferate and really take a stage as being the norm. The video content for these use cases, for instance, this type of content is frequently referred to as assets. And, just like traditional IT, corporate IT data that's highly valuable to companies, so are these video assets. And these are just a few examples. Some of them you may not have thought of, where video content is now being used and also relied on as part of a routine, business functions. And some of these industries are even, pretty different from one another. But what they do have in common is the prevalent use of video and video content as part of their daily business operations and how they rely on it as an important contributor to their success and their profitability. So let's take a closer look at a few ways corporate video is used these days. There are many benefits for the use of corporate video within the HR department when you think about it. In March, for instance, Spectrum, the cable and broadband provider, they moved to a fully virtual hiring process in 1 week. In fact, about 25% of its hiring was conducted virtually before the corona pandemic even came into play. So, why that dramatic change to incorporate video in the recruitment process? And there are several advantages when you stop and think about it. You can cast a wider net to people in other regions, in more distant places, to expand your reach for talent. You can still hold, meaningful face-to-face meetings, and, of course, you're saving time and travel costs. So you get the idea. I mean, there are a lot of different aspects where it's advantageous. And these same benefits, they're also applicable to like corporate events and meetings. Just as we're doing like right now, we're able to get together and share information and have an interactive conversation, that provides for a more rewarding outcome than, via email or something like that. But, and this, video allows us to have this kind of interaction without even ever getting on a plane or sleeping in an uncomfortable hotel bed. So, in my book, that counts as a benefit. So it also counts as a benefit to the finance department. I like my little salesperson in the corner there. But I'm sure everybody recognizes much of this social media icons here. You probably see it daily. So according to an agency, Life Marketing, 97% of marketers are using social media to reach their audiences. That's you, me, it's the world. And we live this, in our daily lives. So there's not much need to elaborate how much video we're consuming daily. Now, looking at sales, and according to the firm ASG and survey results in their social and media sales quota survey, 72% of salespeople using social media as part of their sales process they outperformed their own peers within their company, their own sales peers, and they exceeded their sales quotas 23% more often. And that is going to the bottom line. That is generating revenue, great ROI. So, but in terms of video, that's a huge amount of video content to create and store and then to share. And it's worthwhile because, as I said, it's generating, positive returns. Now here, looking at surveillance, in this area, we might all be a little more fluent in how video is used or how we perceive video is used. And it's in an area that is ever increasing with the use of video. And that stems from the necessity for it, which is ever increasing. So, while we all comprehend that use, it is really growing dramatically. And take, for example, even the work environment and like our corporate campuses. Video is used in those instances also to, promote a safe working environment, and is also a key area where video is used. And another area that may not come to mind very often, but is very important, is protecting those invaluable corporate information and trade secrets. Those are vital to protecting organizations and their longevity. I mean, that is their lifeblood. And, protection also extends to workers' safety, and that can be in a corporate, in the, corporate environment you're familiar with, but it's very pertinent in the manufacturing sector. And another really important aspect in manufacturing is video provides the ability to continually monitor processes that allow organizations to review and then identify areas where changes can be made to, drive efficiencies and reduce downtime. And the ability to do that, these insights that manufacturing companies are able to gain through the use of video, this can actually and directly improve productivity and profitability and have a direct impact in that regard. So, all combined, this means that IT departments need to really take these elements into consideration with their storage management strategy and really look at this entire picture. Organizations are now looking for ways to automate content archiving, along with making it fast and easy to create the content and share it and monetize it. And no one, of course, has bottomless pockets. So, making these improvements to streamline management of, corporate video content and also the workflows associated with it, this all has to stay within fixed budgets. So I like this image, so thanks for sharing it with me. I thought it was a good visual to not let us forget about our colleagues that are located in distant locales and how we need to stay connected. This is a very real complexity that is a factor for most, organizations today. And this is part of our new normal working environment. So with geographically distributed teams, there is a constant need then for them to stay connected, to share data, the video content and imagery, and they need to do this in order to maintain their work, which is therefore business operations. So, while you're envisioning your own process and environment, it's crucial to, keep these remote teams factored into your planning. Now, when you get down to it, managing corporate video content looks very similar to how image data is efficiently managed and processed. And for traditional corporate IT storage managers, managing image data may be more familiar with you. StorNext is central to facilitating this workflow in both instances. And there are some key points to take into consideration when preparing IT for corporate video workflows. First, video files can take up an enormous amount of storage space. And, as you move to 4K and higher resolution formats and with your corporate video content, you're going to need to plan for even greater capacities for these larger files. So that will be very important to do. Secondly, you're going to need to also plan for collaboration. This is a key part of the whole content workflow. And just as we saw a moment ago, with geographically distributed teams, the workflow should allow these folks to access files just as easily as if they were using direct storage. Third, and a constant requirement, of course, is controlling costs. And this can actually be addressed in some ways that you may not have thought of in the past. For instance, using RDMA instead of fiber channel, or using different types of storage better suited for specific content, like maybe using lower cost storage for more, cool content, and then maybe high-speed NVMe for very specific projects that require a higher performance level. So there are a few ways that we can be creative in helping to control costs. The fourth area combines a couple of criteria that I think go hand in hand, and that's protecting your content while also making it easy to monetize. Organizations need to secure the content they've worked so hard to create, but they also need to easily access and share and reuse it, for trainings and product demonstrations, marketing videos, the whole list. So it really goes hand in hand to do both. And the fifth consideration I want to bring up is to simplify management. And this can tie to controlling costs also, but here it's more from the perspective of personnel and staff. So by simplifying the management of the content, this allows teams to be more focused on video production and then sharing it for use. So as we kind of zoom in on how to solve these challenges, let's talk about quantum-specific solution and how Quantum StorNext is able to address all of these key criteria. Quantum provides the flexibility to match the requirements for managing and protecting your corporate video and imagery assets. And like corporate IT, media and entertainment organizations, we hear from them regularly identifying that performance, capacity, and cost, these are among their top storage concerns. And StorNext then can help achieve the right balance of performance, capacity, and cost in a multi-tier environment and leveraging those tiers to help with those different aspects. So having an effective archive strategy then is key to the puzzle and then helps to improve the overall economics of your storage ecosystem, even when we're looking at video content. And with StorNext, you can also seamlessly integrate, like multiple types of storage from, screaming fast NVMe, all the way through object stores, tape, cloud archives. We can address all these different tiers to, maximize all of the requirements that you have in your environment, and while also keeping you connected with your colleagues that are scattered around the globe. So let me share a few, or at least a couple of examples of how Quantum has helped our customers with their own corporate video-specific challenges. So we have a customer popular in the fitness industry who made the transition to an in-house production of video content, specifically for their own marketing purposes. And what they did is that they designed a workflow that saved them time to manage the content. And then they also made it, with that, it allowed them to make it simple to recall and reuse the video content, and allowing them to more easily then monetize their assets. So, time for a footnote. I did want to mention this earlier. You'll hear this as a recurring theme when it comes to video content, is how to monetize it. So, you know, when you're thinking video content, it correlates with monetizing it, making money from it. So anyway, so for this customer, the challenge was to create an on-demand archive library of video assets for their own in-house video production, and they also needed to accommodate multiple sites that they had. And they solved this, of course, by using Quantum StorNext scale-out file storage, and they were able to automate archiving of their video assets, which then simplified management and content protection. It also made it easy then for their teams to then focus on completing their work, and they could then repurpose and monetize that content. So one other customer example with you I'd like to share, and how this organization is using corporate video. So for this company, the goal was to create and utilize training videos. This company is a manufacturer and distributor of automotive aftermarket parts, and they had a large stake in online training or online video training. But their video training production team needed a better way to share the content between the video editors and then reuse the existing material. So they also integrated Quantum StorNext scale-up file storage as part of their solution. And for them, it enabled them to create then a high-performance shared storage environment and allowed them to accelerate production and then save time. And then, of course, then their productivity went up as a result. So across the diverse industries and organizations, you know, that are recognizing the tremendous value of video for engaging customers, training employees, creating safer work environments, and improving manufacturing efficiencies and more, Quantum has been a key partner with these companies to make this a reality. Now, whether you are just getting started with incorporating video content in your own business operations and methods of communication, or if you're just looking for better ways to simplify and monetize it, building an IT environment optimized for video and video-like data is key. And Quantum's heritage in media and video serves as an excellent starting point for you, and to, you know, help you develop the right collaborative and efficient video content workflow, and to maximize your video assets for your organization. And if you would like to learn and find out more how Quantum can help you with those specific objectives that you and your organization are facing, you know, I encourage you to please, you know, contact your Quantum sales team or reseller, and we'd be happy to talk more. So With that, I would like to thank you so much again for your time. It's been a pleasure sharing these aspects of corporate video with you. And now I'm going to check and see if there are any questions, and if so, happy to cover those now. I see a message from some person. However, it's more about accessing the session. I don't have any questions now. If you do have follow-on questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Send along your questions. We'll be happy to cover your questions at a later time, and I can do it offline. And also, reach out to your quantum reseller partners, and I know they will be happy to help as well. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much and wish you a good day.